This is Sky Sports, a part of the British Sky Broadcasting Network. Sky Sports proudly presents FA Premier League football. A whole new ball game.
We used to have this dog called Pippa. I had a great time with Pippa. Pippa was one of the best laughs I ever had. Well, until in my earlier life. Pippa was one of the best laughs I had. She sort of taught me how to deal with things when I was one of the ways to deal with things when I was bored, in so many ways. A truly enjoyable experience and a valuable experience. Which doesn't bring me on to Sabrina, what you've just seen, one of the texts you've just seen, but sort of does in a way. Not in the same way. There's differences. Pippa had a degree of substance to her. Sabrina didn't. Now, on an aesthetic level, I looked. You'll have seen the images of Sabrina in my magazine that I had. And she had these crazy eyes and crazy nipples. And I thought, me being the connoisseur that I am, you just turn the page and, there's, like I said, the Disco Inferno type approach, there's a degree of discernment, isn't there? You don't just settle for any old crap. you don't just, the argument is you don't just settle for any old crap. Turn the page, there's better things on offer, sort of thing. Like I said, crazy eyes, crazy nipples. I'd prefer something better. something with a bit more value. And when you look at the video, it sort of strikes at the heart of the Slip Factory. You know, from mediocrity, for the most part, from mediocrity to mediocrity. You know, there's nothing wrong with enjoying yourself. I do a lot of the time, but there's something substantial about my enjoyment. There's, at times, I'd say, yeah, it's built on solid foundations, a level of groundedness, level-headedness, and so on. You know, it leads to somewhere interesting. My enjoyment. The Slip Factory's enjoyment doesn't really tend to go anywhere. You know, from mediocrity to mediocrity. You know, and it's an existence. You know, they say space is the final frontier, but it ain't really. It's, if you look into the space between a lot of people's ears, you call that a frontier? There's nothing there. So, like I said, with a degree of discernment and with a smart approach, you look for a better way. That is a significant part of the Disco Inferno, like I keep saying. So yeah, when I was at my first higher education establishment, I wrote this essay, and I had a significant degree of the Disco Inferno in the construction of that essay. You know, there was a vibe about me while I was writing that essay. Now the guy who was marking it, he introduced himself. He seemed like an alright guy. He said, I'm from Imperial College London, and a number of people in the room went, oh, I was just sat there thinking, yeah, and you know, sort of thing. But anyway, he seemed an alright guy. But anyway, if he was that brilliant, he was shit-faced on summer. I don't know what it was, but he wouldn't have been shit-faced, and he wouldn't have worked at the place that I was at. You know, that stands to reason, doesn't it? But anyway, seems an alright guy. Shit-faced on summer, but he seems an alright guy. Anyway, I handed in my essay. I said it's not very good. He said I'll be the judge of that. And then when he marked it, he said actually it was quite good or pretty good or something like that. But anyway, I had elements of the Disco Inferno, significant elements of the Disco Inferno, in the writing of that essay. And it was just a great experience. It's just a great experience to have that when you're doing something, which is, you know, a level of performance and so on that I really enjoy. Which brings me on to why I had the ability to why, you know, the text of Sky Sports, a whole new ball game. You know, when you, as in my video, you sort of explore an argument, and then you find this is a better way of doing things, and then you enact that if you want, or you just enjoy the process of finding a better way of doing things, and sort of an influence on me was Big Al, this fella. who said, who had a degree of the Disco Inferno, a significant degree of the Disco Inferno about him. Is despite the fact that I don't buy that he would have needed brain surgery from the NHS. I think that's a sack of shit. This is a guy who's, he's not at my level, clearly. At one stage he may have been, but not anymore. But to say that someone with that structure would need to turn to the NHS or anyone to sort themselves out, I don't buy it. I just don't buy it at all. But yeah, a crazy fella in the right way. My rule is, I don't know, I'll get bored shitless of pissheads, for example, and drug addicts. I did enjoy dabbling in drugs, experience, going through a degree of the drug experience, and it did benefit me. Glue, for example, that I've covered, acid, mushrooms, not to the same extent, but it was pretty enjoyable. But yeah, Alex Ferguson, was. I don't know whether he's gone the way of the cookie yet or not. But he was crazy in the right way. The phrase he apparently had about one of his competitors was, "I'll knock them off their fucking perch," and that is part of the process of the Disco Inferno approach. You have to sort of take away all the bullshit, bring something down to a level where you then work out, well, this is what's going on, that's what's going on, this is what I need to do. That's the quote, that's the motivational factor of, I'll knock them off their fucking perch, sort of thing. That's an essential part of the process of engaging with things, with many things. So you do that. But also, if you just took the quote, if you just had the motivation, you could end up like the likes of Sabrina from the Slip Factory. From the Slip Factory. From mediocrity to mediocrity. Motivation isn't enough. It's important, but it's not enough. You need a degree of substance. As soon as he bought a couple of lads for his defence, the foundations, Bruce and Pallister, I thought, hang on, there's something going on here. This is interesting. And he produced something that was explosive, but there was a degree of, it was explosive, it was exciting, it was inspirational, it was, for me, it was the best football I'd seen. I hadn't seen someone produce something at that level before. You could talk about international football, but it's pretty boring, isn't it? When you really think about it. But what he produced, what Ferguson produced, was, his approach. He actually enacted it. Again, pointing to the Centre for Contemporary Cultural Studies. That's what they were lacking. That's one of the things they were lacking. But I did learn off Ferguson, quite a few things about, it sort of refined what I already had. I could see an influence where I could develop my skills, my approach to things. And that is sort of so important to the process of it's starting to sound a bit hackneyed saying the Disco Inferno approach, but those first beats, you sort of bring in the disco. You're sort of getting down into the swing of things, and you'll bring in the disco. The disco is up, so it gives you that motivation. You get down into the experience, and then the result is that there's a better way of doing things, and you find it, sort of thing. I just, there is something. Even the process itself is inspirational to you. And this is one of the things about, for example, the NHS. My experiences with the NHS. I looked at how, for example, as with my last interaction with them, which will probably be very similar, possibly, the next time I meet them. I thought, well, these people, are, if I wanna do things, and these ain't really, the state of these people, the approach of these people, the thoughts of these people, just about everything about which sort of comes from a Tesco, Athena disco type approach, the Tesco management. It ain't the right way of doing things for me. Might be for them. I don't think it is. But there's better ways of doing things. And like I said, that's what, despite the fact that football became part of the Tesco Athena disco and so on and so forth, for me, the important thing is you take from the experience what's of worth. And that was my approach to Ferguson. Now, obviously, I surpassed his level. It's blatantly obvious. That's one of the challenges that Tesco's Athena Disco faces. They're like, well, what the fuck is going on here? Me, I'll do my thing. I already had. There was a reason Alex Ferguson was inspirational and influential for me, and I already had a degree in that, a significant degree in that type of approach. Where part of finding a better way of doing things is to, knock certain things off their fucking perch, and then, that is an essential part of the process. You don't. If you want to achieve something worthwhile, really worthwhile, then you do have to knock things off their fucking perch. But you have to have a foundation, which was which is what got me thinking something's going on here. Bruce and Pallister. The minute I saw he's bought these individuals, I thought this is going somewhere, and it's seeing someone reach their potential, like Ferguson did. Well, to a certain extent. I mean, there was a load of bullshit after the Tesco Athena disco. Swept even someone like Ferguson up into its dull approach, and in comparison with the Disco Inferno. So it can quash even people like Ferguson, but it doesn't quash me, which is sort of an indication of why. It's sort of an indication that, to me at least, that I have superseded the level of that fella. I haven't got a football team, for example. I'm on the dole, and here I sit. But this is part of the descaling process. When he says, "I knock them off their fucking perch," but again, that's only the quote. That's only the motivational factor. You've seen the lots of Sabrina and so many individuals and collectives in the from the Slip Factory, which comes from Tesco, Athena, Disco, which comes from the architects, and sort of the architects just sort of took the Tesco, Athena, Disco, sort of to another level, in terms of power, not in terms of substance, yeah. So basically, that process is what you have to do. You have to have solid foundations. You have to knock things off their fucking perch. But the solid foundations are, you don't just knock things off their fucking perch. You sort of look at the whole structure of something with motivation, with an intelligent approach, with a drive. Not to just knock things off their fucking perch, but find a better way of doing things. And that's what Ferguson achieved. But again, he was taken in by the Tesco Athena Disco. Which is, almost certainly why he came up with that crap about the NHS. Which, like someone like that, if they hadn't have been taken in by the Tesco Athena Disco, that's not his way. It's certainly not my way of doing things. But it's just clearly Ferguson had a degree of discernment. But again, taken in by the Tesco Athena Disco. But a degree of discernment that, for a time at least, before the Tesco Athena Disco got hold of him, produced something that was really worth seeing. But yeah, interesting stuff. I'll just have a laugh a lot of the time with it as well. That's what you do, isn't it? It's like, then like you sort of gradually, slowly but surely, get a sense of, like I said, I already had that sense of, I've got what I call the Disco Inferno, and then you just, it's like that record Temptation as well. That's a record of real substance, in contrast to the majority of content, text that come from the Slip Factory. That is a real, again, like the Disco Inferno, like Ferguson, like so many texts that I see, but see in a flexible way, in a smart way, in a constructive way, in a way that works for me. And it'll continue to work for me. Like I said, part of the process is to knock things off their fucking perch, but like, that's the motivational factor, like I say, but also the foundational, the framework and so on and so forth, a framework that actually works. Like I said, I'd discard this flat. That'll be an ongoing process, obviously. It's obvious that Tesco's Athena Disco at times struggles with my sense of humour, for example. That's, that is their issue. And if they're not happy with it, they can keep trying to come out with the Tesco Athena Disco and its components, to put it that way, and only knock them off their fucking perch again and find a better way, with a solid foundation, solid framework, and so on and so forth. Important influences, important motivations, important drive, yeah, I wouldn't say craziness. Even though Ferguson had that craziness, it was really entertaining. But to find better ways of doing things. And ultimately, I spent time in boxes. you know, they are serving an important purpose for me. Well, more than one important purpose for me. I do really, some might say odd, but I do really value my boxes. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's an enjoyable day, really. Can't believe it's coming up to evening time already. Wednesday. Don't know what I'm going to do for the rest of the day, just faff about with my boxes, as you do. As anyone in their right mind in 2025 would.